Hello. Can everyone hear me okay? All right, awesome. Hey guys, thank you so much for everyone who's logged in and has joined us or is about to. Yeah, and again, thank you for joining us for this conversation. So Black Canvas Introductions is basically an extension of a bursary that I've been on with Create for the past year, couple of months. And yeah, I just felt it was important to have like a platform where Black artists could meet, discuss the things we go through and what we feel needs to change in the industry, and then just have general conversation. So this is supported by the Arts Council and managed by Create. And today I'm joined by Jafaris, who will be our host. Woo, yeah. And then also Favor, Lapri, and Karine. And I think Vittoria is going to join us sometime soon too. But yeah, first we're going to have a screening of a short film that I did with the artist called Fetty Speaks, and a very, very incredible spoken word artist. So yeah, we're gonna open with the short film Hey There Black Child. I just think it really sets the tone, and then we're gonna carry on to Jafaris, who's gonna introduce everyone. So I think we're gonna have the film shared in a second. Oh, here we go.
Hey there, black child. Do you know who you are? Who you really are? Do you know you can be what you want to be? Hey there, black child. Be the escaped victim looking for more parts of yourself, like treasure-haunted jigsaw pieces, reassembling, rearranging, search, break free and run, hunt, and chase yourself down till the rest of you marches behind in a single file, unroped, unchained, and accepted. Hey there, black child. Accompany darkness into the room and steal its shine. Be big enough to fill crooks and corners. Nobody can say you aren't visible, heard, known, awkward enough to be the elephant in the room or the flame in a candle. You fit. But damn it, you exist to be wild, to roam free, to extend the trunk of your mind, to lick the minds of nations like forest fire, to stomp when you damn well please, find your steady beats, flex your abilities. Hey there, black child. You're more than a black child. You're more than the reminder of skin. Shade isn't your summary, your conclusion, your solution. You are answers to prayers on troublesome days. Be somebody's amen. You're the crescendo in a promising masterpiece. Don't you dare be mute. You are the silence before the erupting applause. Still your audience, you are to be awed at. Black child, be free. Hey there, black child. You know who you are, who you really are, without borders or frames, not in cages or caves. Hey there, black child. Be.
Wow. Wow. That was incredible. Incredible. Well done, bro. I guess I come in now. How are you guys doing? I'm Jafaris, aka Uncle Jaffa. I'll be your host today. So let's take this moment to everyone just introduce themselves one by one. Keep it brief, you know what I'm saying? And we already know Toby, so Lepre, then Fizzy, then Kareen.
Hi guys, what's good? What's happening? So my name is Lepre and I am the founder of Southside Moves, which is basically a dance brand I started a couple of years ago. Thank you so much, Toby, for this opportunity. I'm absolutely excited and delighted for your project. It is amazing. So yeah, what I basically do is I teach Afro dance in Dublin and Galway, and I've taught in places like Waterford. I've worked with the likes of Google in terms of Black performance for Black History Month. I've done Twitter and all the works, and honestly, I can't list out the amount of works I've done in Ireland, but I've had so many opportunities to work with all these amazing brands and people who align with what my brand stands for. So yeah, I'm super excited to have this discussion today about, Black arts in Ireland. And yeah, that's basically me. And yeah, I hope you guys stay tuned. We're so excited to share with what we have.
Favorite. What's up?
Hi, hello, can you hear me? Hi, my name is Favor Bishola, pardon the lights. I am a dance artist based in Dublin, and I have been dancing professionally for over 8 years. And I've worked with a lot of artists and dance companies, both nationally and internationally. Yeah, that's me. Just a short introduction about, yeah.
Kareen.
That's me. Can you hear me? Hi, guys. Hi, short introduction for me as well, because I'm sure we have a lot to talk about tonight. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Karen. I go under the brand of AIC Vibes, mainly in County Cork. So same here, same vibes. We are spreading the culture, Afro classes, dancehall classes, everything about Africa and the Caribbean. We're bringing the knowledge, the steps, the education, and we get involved with companies, festivals. So I am really looking forward to this meeting and to see where it all leads. Thank you so much.
Sweet. Thank you guys, and nice to meet everybody. Yeah, I think we should just keep it natural. I have some talking points, but it should be more conversational. So I'm gonna start off by asking the first question, and whoever wants to answer, you guys just hand up, and let's keep it civilized. First question: has 2020 divided us further or brought us closer as a community? That is the first question. Who wants to answer? Go on, Dupree.
Okay, I'll just start this off just because I feel like that one is a given. So 2020, the year of lockdown, oh my days. Honestly, okay, so I feel like 2020 has brought us closer as a community. Like it's made us more attentive to other artists around, especially like being in the house where you can go online, you can see more what other dancers are doing. And I feel like, having to see the adaptability from going to a normal state where we see each other sometimes to being online where you see everybody pop up, whether they're posting up dance videos or doing online classes or just doing something in the house on live. I feel like we were even more connected. And also I think having to see all of these artists and stuff, it makes you more inclined to support them. I don't know, well, I feel the need to share somebody's post, share somebody's dance video, share somebody's whatever that they're doing online. Sorry guys, I'm actually in college. Okay, we've let that pass. But yeah, I think as a community, we've grown to become very supportive of each other. and everything we're doing. And I think Go Dance, for one, is a really great example as to how we are as a community. Karen is absolutely amazing. Like, if you go to the Go Dance Instagram, you will see the amount of classes, the amount of performances that we have from collectively, all of us all together. And I think that platform on its own just shows how we were in 2020. So that's my 2 cents.
I love it. I love it. Anyone else want to add anything? Toby? Oh, Favor.
Yeah, can I just say something quickly?
There.
I'm a bit torn apart because my first instinct to answer was to say no. It did not bring us together as a community. It definitely made a lot of things easier in the sense that the effort put into creating or into making work was definitely reduced in this because it became as easy as just staying at home, creating something and putting it online. And then it became the race of whoever can do the best stuff at home. So that's why I'm torn, because at the same time, what Lapri said was also true. The fact that it also helped everyone stay connected, even though they were far away. It's also true, you know. So I'm pretty much torn in between. But if I'm gonna speak on my experience or from what I see and how I see it, I would say more of no than yes. But one thing I can say that 2020 actually helped most of us, or even me, or maybe most of the fellow artists I've spoken to and worked with, it gave us the opportunity to, it gave us the freedom that we needed to be able to discuss with one another, to be able to come together and have discussions and have different sessions on how we could be either better or to work on our art. You know, it's everyone wasn't working. Now that everyone is busy. Everyone is busy. We rarely see each other. So 2020, in a sense, that was good. That was very amazing because we all got to meet with each other, discuss with each other, you know, come together and, you know, just have fun. But now that everything's back open, so I'm in between. You understand? So I'm yes and I'm no. And those are the two reasons that my mind just goes in between. I hope that's okay.
Okay.
Can I say something? Oh, Tobi, go.
Yeah. Kareem, yeah, you go.
No, I was gonna say, because it's not really precise. Are we talking only about the arts, or are we talking in general? Or are we talking uniquely about the Black community or in general? Because there is many layers to this. I'm like Favor, yes and no.
I think let's go in general. Sorry, sorry to interject.
No, yeah, I was gonna say in general as well, because
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good,
I think
because there's a lot to say.
yeah, let's go there. Let's go there.
I actually wrote a song. Like, believe it or not, I wrote a rap because I needed to let go of the 2020 energy, and that was my only idea. I was in lockdown I was rapping. Like this is you will never hear.
You wanna do the rap? You wanna do the rap?
I was gonna say, don't start. You will never hear. I can. It's somewhere
Give us a few
there
lines
on my phone.
Spit bars, spit bars.
One day.
Spit bars.
Yeah. I don't want to scare the attendees, guys.
No,
you know. But yeah, I agree. First, good news. I agree because it has brought us, like, it depends on like if each other pace of life. But me, for example, I'm talking for myself. I was everywhere. Like, there was always something to do, some places to be, and I could focus on anything except the thing I had to do. So in this regard, when 2020 happened and the lockdown and everything, it brought together, it was a way to bring yourself together in the first place. So it brought us together within first. So, okay, let's sit down. What have I done so far? Where am I heading? What do I want? So we had plenty of time and space to reflect. So this was the first step. And then it was such a sad year for the Black community and mainly oppressed people all over the world anyway, that in this matter, it has brought us together in terms of emotions. Because we all felt like, I don't know for you, I felt like sugar, I'm trying not to say the S word anymore. I felt like crap, like literally. There was so many sad news in our community, and the businesses, the closure of business. There was, yeah, we kind of had the willpower to do better within ourselves and the willpower to do better for the whole Black community. It starts with unity. So that was, I felt that sense of, okay, we need to come together now, no more bullshit. Like, we have access to the information. There is too much that we know to keep ignoring and still doing our stuff for ourselves, you know? So me personally, this is where it brought me together even closer to the Black community, where I started to unapologetically consume into local business. I don't want to say, yeah, Black business, literally. I was unapologetic. I don't know, I can't say that word, but there's something about this word. But like, no excuse. I really start to look to, I had so much hair products. I had to put them all aligned, research, okay, who's the boss actually? Oh, so I've been consuming this company thinking like, oh, and there is that person now providing their own product. I should have a look. And 2020 was literally a year of reset in terms of how I consume. So in this sense, it has brought us together. Now the division was the fact that the restriction, we couldn't it's good to be online, but this didn't last. I don't know about you, but I felt totally drained by having to stay online. And even the people, you know, classes from home are not from everybody. Like, you have to have a specific settings, maybe you have children, or, you know, it's not for everybody to be available to take such style and the energy. Anyway, there's a lot to say, but yeah, the fact that we were limited geographically and we couldn't see each other, and also a division into the mindset, but that's general about COVID, like whoever gets the vaccine, whoever don't get the vaccine, do this, but it has brought a lot of division amongst each other. And this was a really bad, this was bad for business motivation. Yeah, 50-50. I'm done.
Okay, so mixed feelings. Toby, do you have anything you want to add?
I'm kind of the same. I have mixed feelings as well, and I would agree with literally like every single thing that's been said so far. But I'm going to speak on it from like a weird perspective, because I feel like, say personally, say like in terms of like, say my relationship to people around me, or say like loved ones, family, friends, or even just like a community who whoa, that was close, who are interested and enjoy what I do. It felt like, yes, I would agree that it brought us closer in terms of being online, being able to see more of each other's stuff, you know, being able to support each other, show more love, be more there, be more present. And also, like Favor said, we didn't have anything else to do because they locked us at home. And we were all trying to duck from COVID, you know. But at the same time, I feel like, and I'm not saying it's good or bad, I'm just trying to like clock what I felt from it. At the same time, I feel like it also kind of divided us. Because say, okay, if you want to look at bringing things like, say, okay, forget politics, you want to bring in things like even like, say, trend into it. As much as we all started to come together and say, like, say, even little things like fashion trends, where everyone will start to like say fuck with Black culture more and wear them. Skirt. Sorry. And where everyone started to like say become more culturally aware. I want to chop life from the culture more. But at the same time, you now had, say, that divide of, you know, who's more on fashion, who's more on trend, who's more cool. And as much as people are, say, getting more culturally aware, is like, are they still really like actually with the culture and trying to connect, or are they just trying to, you know, take what's there? So I feel like it did kind of cause a togetherness, but simultaneously like a rift, not only in distance, but also like, you know, who started to like kind of go to what side of each sector in a sense. In the, say, the industry, the art sense, I think whenever there's a big social move like that, you know, we start to get little things like when things start reopening, say even like with the likes of BLM and stuff, certain acts start to pop off, and then you get a resurgence and a growth. Like right now, Karine and Lapri's classes, bro, I just came back to the country. Karine and Lapri's classes, yo, energy is different. Energy is different. There's people from everywhere, people from every culture, every nation, everything in those classes, and I'm saying like the love is real. But I think it also showed like just the divide. I think we were all very much aware, with all of us here being Black, of the they're having to watch out for, like, say, tokenism or performativism, or whether. So I think in those regards, it kind of made the divide very clear. And I think those divides are socially and culturally very much present the last, I don't know, as long as I can remember in history. So they were quite deep for us and they're quite prevalent. So I think it still leaves a bit of a gap, but still brings us together. So yeah, 50-50. Still figuring out.
Okay. I know I'm the host, but I definitely would like to add the 2 cents to this.
Please.
I feel like, again, I do agree with everybody. Like, there's so many things. I think 2020 as a whole just brought so many different things out of everybody, every sector, every community. But specifically the Black community, I think we all started like waking up when George Floyd died. I think that's when everyone really just started, like, whoa, it shook everyone up. And then obviously the following events, the whole George and Kent show thing, the whole, like, certain things happened that were like, whoa, like, it kind of highlighted the fact that we weren't unified. Do you get me? Like, that we weren't really together, that we don't really have an ecosystem. We don't have anything that is tangible or fruitful for our community. That was me personally as well. Like, before all of that, I was kind of like ignorant to the whole racism factor. Like, of course I know it existed, but I was kind of like, well, it's all right, like, I'm not gonna die. Do you get me? But that also made me realize that, like, yo, I'm kind of part of the problem if I don't fight it with my people. Do you get me? And everyone decided to fight it many different ways. Let's go online, let's be angry, let's shout at each other, let's be pissed off at wording, etc., etc. But I also think that it woke certain people up, especially in the creative scene. Like, the fact that we have things like this, the fact that we have like panel discussions, the fact that we had Spotlight happen, the fact, like, we had so many different things that happened because of that. Do you get me? Because of that awakening. And I think it's only gonna get stronger. I don't know. I do feel like the support from the outside communities was momentary. Do you get me? It was kind of like, oh yeah, let's put a black box up. Let's just do this for a moment. But also, there's remnants of that. Like, the Arts Council are supporting Black people now a bit more than they did before. Do you get me? There's more funding that's being opened up to us now because of that. Like, maybe not everybody, not all companies are in support, but the fact that we have at least one or two now opens up opportunities so much more. So yeah, it's a 50-50, but I think it did more good than bad. Just the fact that we're kind of holding hands, even if it's just pinkies. Do you get me? But I think it's cool. Like, and that kind of leads me to the second question. Like, what kind of shift do you think BLM triggered in Ireland? I know the Arts Council and stuff is one, but, like, is there more things that you guys have noticed since the movement?
Okay, so I wasn't here before COVID and BLM and stuff, so I don't know exactly how. So I don't think I have anything to say in this. I only know what happened when I came, and then BLM happened, and then the outcome. But the way it was before, I don't know anything. So I'm just gonna look and be listening to everybody and see what everyone wants to say.
Okay, I'll just answer with what I think I know. So the BLM, sorry, Black Lives Matter movement. I think, like you said, Jafaris, with the George Floyd movement and how it opened up a lot of people's eyes to, like, okay, there's certain things that I can't accept anymore. Like, in Ireland, there is a lot of people who think that there's no racism in this country, right? And I feel like as some Black people, we've learned to kind of accept certain things that are masked as racism. Like, for example, how many of you guys get people who ask you stuff, or if you speak to somebody and they say, oh my God, your English is absolutely amazing, it's brilliant. That's a form of racism right there. It's like, you're not educated to know that there's so many English speaking Africans or Black people who speak English. It's not like just because my English is absolutely amazing, I was born in Ireland or I'm Black Irish or anything like that. But I think what happened with George Floyd and how, there's also another George Nkwencho. I'm not sure if I'm saying his surname right as well in Ireland. I think that also did wake us up to kind of see, okay, listen, I need to be very proud and unapologetic about I almost said that wrong, Karine. Unapologetic about my Blackness. I need to educate my friends more. I need to cut it off as soon as it happens. If somebody says something like, oh, can I touch your hair? Or your hair is like a sheep, cut it off straight away. I think it just woke people up to be more aware of what's happening, and also people who are not Black as well, to be more aware of what they say to people of color or to their friends as well, to be able to educate them. Just to answer the question, I'm not sure if we're answering in a sense of being an artist in Ireland or in general as well. So that's me.
Nah, I think these questions are like typically to do with the Black community, but you in the Black community are a creative. So how does that influence you as a Black creative in your industry? Do you get me? Like, how did the shift happen in your industry and in your community as well? But to add to what you said, I think this whole shift is a process. You get me? Like, it's not happening overnight. It's gonna happen in due time, and we're not gonna get rid of racism as much as we'll try. Yeah, we're not gonna get rid of it because we can't change a man's heart. But I do believe that, in speaking for myself and my friend circle, anyways, it's kind of like, yes, racism exists and it's very potent in Ireland, but we also got to see it being exposed so much in the UK and in America, and see that like it's so much more deep rooted and it's so much more systematic over there than it is here. It's a little bit here, and I'm sure it's growing even in the background, but it hasn't stopped us. It hasn't like held us back drastically the way it has in the UK or in America. Like, we can still start a business, you can still thrive here. I just think it's highlighting the fact that in Ireland we're so comfortable, especially in the Black community. Like, we're just cool being here. Just like, yeah, I have Susie, I have this, I'm just gonna chill. Do you get me? Whereas we should be thinking, and it's all a part of the problem. It's like we've been taught that we can only do this thing, and this is the only, like, you can only dance, you can only be a singer, you can only do this, and that's as far as you'll go, especially in Ireland. But I feel like we're waking up, like some of us are waking up anyways, and realizing that like there's businesses here that we can start. Like, Ireland is a blank canvas for all of us. Do you get me? Like, stuff like Spotlight was something that opened my eyes to the fact that we have ideas that they don't have. Do you get me? Like, we have ideas that they need in order for Ireland to be put on the map. I just feel like maybe it's hard to explain it to the corporations or the people in charge, but I'm also under the impression that we don't really need them. Like, if we were able to build an army within our own community, there's so much that we can do. There's too much in our community that is gold. You get me? We make culture, we make music that is cool, we make the fashion cool, we make the dances that they like. Do you get me? So there's a few different things that are happening. I just think it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a lot of unlearning, and then learning, and then implementing and growing, and then also a big one is support and not combating ourselves, because I feel like if racism didn't exist, we'd still have to deal with the fact that Black people are just prejudiced amongst themselves as well. Do you get me? Like, we're kind of against each other. But yeah, Toby, you have something to say?
No, sorry, my head was kind of spun there because I just had a lot of different points. Everything you and the pre were saying really jumped out at me, and I didn't want to like lose half the points in my head. But I was just gonna say, I was like, I don't think, especially because I was working on black canvas for most of the year, as Favor knows very well because he's working closely with me. I don't think racism, as bad as myself, will ever really go away, because it's a human problem, and the world is built on classism. So there's always gonna have to be a divide. Someone's gonna always have to be like, if I decide when I want to pop off, I'm gonna have to pop. And you know what I mean? Even if I'm nice about it and I'm not trying to like do nobody out, there's still gonna be somebody who's gonna feel like, you know, oh, that person's raw up there. Oh, that's Drake, and I'm just trying to make music, but everyone only want, you know what I mean? So there's always gonna have to be that. There's always gonna have to be that level. Otherwise, we'd have like a more, maybe, I don't know, like an equal community system where everyone's just equal, which, as we know from the savannah, don't exist. There's a lion, there's a tiger, there's a deer. Anyways, I was gonna say, I feel like for me, I think one point I really wanted to make was that I feel like BLM socially did what they usually, like, first of all, every day is BLM. If you're Black, every day is BLM. I'm sorry, but all the BLM movements, I'm here for them, and I'm not trying to, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to say I'm against BLM or whatever. I'm really not. I'm here for them. But for me, I'm like, being Black and even being a soft-hearted Black person, like, every day is BLM. There's always things you deal with on a daily basis. But I think it did what it usually does socially, which is that commercially triggers all the companies to go, ooh, gotta patch that. You know, whether it's the BLM movement or sustainability or being eco-friendly or, you know, religion friendly. Everyone's like, oh, you know, we're now doing this thing where we're donating this much to that. We're now putting on this artist here. So I think it did what it needed to do in terms of making companies have to become more aware. But I think for the Black community, it, like you and Lepre were both saying, Jafaris, I think it really made us more aware as to what we were dealing with and what we needed to stand up for. Because for me, and Favor was with me on this project, for me personally, what it triggered in me was the day we did the Black and Afro project, Favor. I remember that day I was supposed to be dancing in the video with the younger generation, you know what I mean? Like, and I turned up and I remember in my head feeling, I was like, I've never met any of these guys. These guys are like 17, 18, they're all Black. They all do Afro and dance. I being a dance artist in Ireland who's working and doing community work and trying to, you know, do good here, out there, whatever. I have never met any of these guys. That was my first thought. And then on the day I remember being, and Favor will stand testament to this, I remember being like, okay, guys, I'm gonna have to stand out of this because we need someone to direct this. That was the first day I found my love for directing, by the way. God bless the Black community. And I stepped out and I just remember throughout the day, we were moving around town and it was raining, it was COVID. And the things I had to say to those Black kids, based on what had been said to me, you know, in terms of like say staying safe, you know, being cautious outdoors, being in public, you know, people's attention to Black youth, depending on how they behave, the things I had to say to keep them in line that I thought, you know, would help. For me, as I reflected on the day, I was like, these were things that were said to me and things that I'd always watched out for, and they didn't feel in any way human. To put it shortly, if that makes sense. I was like, why do I have to say these particular things to this particular class of people who are just like me? And that was what, for me, it really triggered in me, was this kind of need to, okay, yes, honor my Blackness and be extremely proud of that. I will say my full name to anyone at any point from now on. But also to actually study my own culture. So I spent like at least 8 months of this year with Favor in studios working on pieces that are referenced based on Black history or Black culture, or just like learning what it means to be a Yoruba man and trying to find what that balance means. So I think it really did. Yeah, I think it really did. It caused, like any big social movement, it caused the shift that it needed to cause. It highlighted the issues, brought awareness to them. And then on the commercial side, yeah, they did whatever they had to do, whether it was genuine, whether we had to deal with the tokenism or whatever. That's always, I think that's a given. And I think even things like tokenism need to be looked at cautiously, because if not somebody, then who? You get me? Because usually I know they're usually seen as a negative, but I'm like, sometimes it's better to have someone in the door. Now, obviously you have to check the intention behind that door, but it's better to have someone in the door and they can put their foot in the door and, you know, kind of guide people in, than to have no one in there at all, because otherwise we end up left in the same position. But anyways, yeah, I forgot the rest of my points, but I agree with everything everyone said so far. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. So I think we've established that there has been some sort of shift. There has, even if it's 10, 15%, that it's moving towards something. This is like a sub question. I don't know if I should do this because we don't have that much time, but do you guys have any like practical or tangible solutions to some of the issues that were mentioned, or even just the unity factor, like how Black people can in each industry, in the community, whatever, like how we can actually come together more? Do you get me? Does anyone have anything things that they've been theorizing, thinking about, throwing out there in conversations?
Yeah, yeah. One major thing when I talk to anybody I talk to, and anybody can attest to this, is what I always say: if you are gonna want to work on your art, if you want a change, if you have issues or you talk about things are not happening, blah blah blah, blah, the best solution is just do it. Start by doing it. Do it yourself. Start from somewhere. Because one thing I've understood for a long time is the success that we see on a daily basis now, or the togetherness we see of people, or the this that we see that we're like, oh, we want to emulate, took a long time to build. You know, it took a long time. And number two, perception is a problem. Perception has damaged a lot of relationships before talking about it. Just thinking, he didn't do this, that's why. He didn't do, it's a problem. It's a big problem, because if you don't get to discuss and communicate, a lot of problems will come up. A lot of people will tell you this, you will share this from somewhere. And if you choose to believe everything, it's a problem. So the first thing is, as all of us, as artists, the number one thing we should do is, your art. Keep on working on yourself. Believe in the art. Work on it. Don't just give up on it. Make sure that you keep on pushing it. Spread love, joy, happiness, peace. That's all it is. All right. No matter what happens, it's life. It's gonna happen. People are gonna be the way they want to be. But as long as you just keep on doing what you're doing, and you're sure you're doing the right thing, and you're sure you're mixing with people that you can see how genuine they are, and they can see how genuine you are, at the end of the day, it's going to be better. You're going to have more friends. You're going to have family. You're going to have people to share this with. And that's how you build a community. That's how, when you're not there and somebody else is talking about you, your friend is like, man, no, Favor is not like that. Or when somebody's talking about Lapri or Tobi or Jafar, I'm like, you don't know these guys. Do you know this person you're talking about? I don't think it's the same person we're talking about. You get me? So I've seen a lot of people try to sell each other out because of money, or because of the kind of job, or because of the kind of stuff they're doing, and blah 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 blah. And the number one thing I just would say every single time is, know the people you work with, right? Be truthful, just be plain. If you don't like something, even if the person is your friend, say it. Man, this thing doesn't make sense, right? Keep quiet, say it, whatever you want to do. But when you start to hide stuff and you don't talk about stuff, and you start to make it seem like there is something wrong, or blah, 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 it starts to, the perception, just somebody else could be watching you, and maybe you that day you felt like maybe what this guy did wasn't right, but you told him is right, and somebody is watching you like this, and then your face is like, the person will go and be like, man, that guy is lying to that boy, before you know. So I like coming from the personal perspective, not the bigger idea and the bigger picture, because the bigger picture is the end result. That's what everyone sees. Nobody sees behind the scenes, what happens with the people, what happens, everything. So that's what I would just say is, for me, is the best solution to handling anything, basically. I'm
Toby,
done.
thank you.
So we're talking in terms of like advice for overall, is that what you're saying? Yeah.
So like, just, I like the word solutions because we always talk about the
So
problems.
yeah.
So like, and I know it's hard to just think of solutions. If we knew how to solve it, we would have solved it by now.
All
But
right. Cool. For me, I think I would go bigger picture and say the only kind of anywhere near anything close to the solutions I found so far are as this sound corny as heck, but I think it goes in line with everything we spoke about so far, is knowledge, first of all, and collaboration. I think the information we have access to as a community defines us. And I think it goes to a deeper level than we actually are allowed to realize. And I think, Favor, you were there with me when we did the Ultraviolet film, which was supposed to be a film of Black masculinity. And my bro Dylan Chapman, shout out DreadX, he asked the question, he's like, do you know how many Black guys can quote for quote, speak about Black history of slavery, yada, 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 all that kind of stuff, which is obviously a necessity and very, very necessary. But he's like, compared to how many Black guys can actually tell me about the country that they're from and the history of that country. And for me, speaking of Black unity, I felt attacked, to be honest, because I knew some stuff, but I didn't feel like I knew enough. So first of all, I think knowledge on that level, but then also knowledge in terms of just the industry, having access to having equal access to, I guess, information, like even just the last year of getting lost in the arts and knowing, say, where the grants or funds are, being able to help favor with that as being a huge step as well. And then collaboration in terms of, just Black Irish artists being able to collaborate, not just with only with the Black community itself, but with other artists. I don't really see how we can better our situation, or I guess reinforce the energy, the good, the amazing energy we bring to Ireland, or the knowledge we have without actually being able to collaborate within each other and then with the community. I remember I was working with Favor and we were reflecting on race. And I was like, it's funny because the times where anything didn't really hit me too deep were the times where I just felt like a person, I just felt human. You know what I mean? Whereas there's other times where I say something might happen and I'm like, oh, it's a racist thing. So I'm like, oh, I felt Black. And then there's other times where it's just like, it's just the energy was so good. You know what I mean? Like the energy we bring is so amazing. So let that be what we lead with. Let the collaboration happen naturally. Let us have like, not even like an army. Let us have like just genuine support for each other. You know what I mean? Like there's so many amazing groups now, like Groupa, Irish Black owned, Black and Irish. You have the likes of Amanda Ade, Oyinza. Like I'm like, if anyone's doing events, we should all support that, because one for all and all for one. Woo, fencing. Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to get that in there.
Sorry, Karine, and you had something to say.
Yeah, I was just scared to be off topic. That's why I say I forgot. But when there's literally, when you say, I agree when you said you like the word solution because we like to bring up problem. There is one solution that has a ripple effect on every single industry when it comes to the Black community. And Tobi, you work getting very close. It's education. It's literally education. And that's why I will never pronounce myself on Black Lives Matter, because I am so against it. You will never see me on a panel discussing about Black Lives Matter. You will never see me wearing anything BLM, talking about, for me, he was the highest form of, like, I lost my dignity watching my community. And as long as a Black man and a Black woman doesn't know about themselves and their true identity, as long as they don't go that deep within history and do their own work, they will still always marching, asking for the life of Black people. Like, of course, your love matter. Like, it's even the title itself is stupid. It's proper marketing. And no disrespect, because I have talked with so many people that I had to be in the shoes of somebody that is genuinely born in Ireland, as a Black person, identified as straight Irish and knows nothing about Africa. Then I understood the movement. But before I talk to this person, whoever is saying BLM or defending the cause of Black people by marching in Europe, asking for our life to matter, for me is a loss of dignity. And it's so deep. It's so deep that it's there's so much, not so much to say, but it starts with education, to know about yourself, where you're from, what the world have done, what capitalism have done to every single African country, and what they teach is individualism. So we cannot ask for unity if we are raised into a world where individualism and capitalism is what matter actually. There is no space for us here. But now, how to explain that when I pay my tax here at the moment? That's why I just shh. But one day you just see me gone. That's what I'm saying.
Wow. That's a powerful one. Lupri, you have anything?
That was heavy.
I just want to echo that real quick. Just give it a second to settle in, because I think all of that is very necessary. Yeah. Raw.
Yeah, see, that was so that was strong.
For real. No, honestly, for real. Gee.
Come on,
Kareem.
I know that.
That's something to think about, though. It is. It's something to really think about, because, wow. Because even when I came here on a type of level, English is going over a level, right? The Black Lives Matter for me was very emotional more for me because of it literally was the same. For me, it wasn't just about Black Lives Mattering in America, but everywhere, even back in Nigeria, because there were so many issues going on. So for me, I was fighting for so much more than just one simple issue. You get me? So to hear how Karen just phrased it in this context is mind blowing and really, really is very insightful if you think about it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just to respond to
Agree.
that. It's funny, yeah, because being honest, there's some days where I actually like internally struggle with identity in that regard. No, legit, legit,
No, I'm
legit.
just, I don't want to cut you off. I'm just Lepre. I think
Oh, sorry, the
Lepre.
free.
No, that's fine. I think everybody has said a lot on Black Lives Matter. I think we've had both. I think we've seen both sides, you know, from somebody who's looking at it from a different perspective and someone else is looking at it a different perspective as well. So I don't have much to add on this, but I do have for the next topic.
No problem. Toby, you can continue.
No, I was just gonna say I was trying to make some depressive thing, but I'm just trying to say, like, as a Black man trying to re-educate myself, you know, it's like obviously reading on what Black history supposedly is compared to what Black history actually is, compared to, you know, BLM being a more Americanized thing that then became a UK thing. It's not Europeanized. It's not like the global movement for Black lives, compared to, say, over the last year, realizing just how individual, like how actually, like, we're all just, like Karine said, we're all just human beings. So the whole idea of having to like define someone's, yeah, the whole idea of having to demand like that your life matters in a sense is dehumanizing, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's just like some days it's kind of, I don't know if any of you feel this is kind of hard. And then also, like Favor said, looking back home to Nigeria and knowing the effects history's had on that, and the effect that capitalism has had on that as well, compared to being in Europe and, as Karine said, paying taxes. It's just kind of hard to know some points where to draw the line and be like, okay, I range from here, and I'm this kind of person. You get me? So yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, very. I do agree. I think the first and foremost thing Kareem said is education. I think that is definitely the basis of anything. That's where we should start. I don't know if this is too militant, but when you think about like whatever this race thing is, I look at it like a war that has all these different battles in it. Like obviously BLM is people trying to battle it in their own way, and then there's people online who are trying to be the online warriors, and just there's so many different battles. But I feel like when we're talking about power and like where Black people are at in the community, because of the effects of racism, we don't have our own ecosystem. Like we don't have, and Karine mentioned it earlier. She said she had to look at all her products and see who was running this business, so then she could support this specific business. You get me? Like I don't think, especially in Ireland, I don't know if we have a very strong ecosystem. Like when you look at different communities, like Asian communities and all, they have family businesses and they're successful and they can compete against the white people, etc., etc. Do you get me? We don't have anything like that. So I feel like a step after, or maybe a few steps after the education, is looking at how we can build our own ecosystem. How can I support another Black person? And part of what Favor said is about being honest with somebody. And maybe you're talking about it in a different context, but especially in this scene, like creatively, I feel like we're not as transparent as we should be with each other. In order to collaborate with somebody, you must like what they do. You must have a mutual understanding there. But I feel like we hide behind the whole like being too nice. Do you get me? There should be a place of like, yo, I don't mess with this because this. It should be constructive. Do you get me? Because we should all want each other to win. It shouldn't be like you're just shit and that's it. Do you get me? And you leave the room. It should be like, well, there's room for improvement here. There's room for improvement here. I know this person who can help you with this. I struggled with this as well. Like literally passing resources, even if it's not money or tangible things. It's advice, opinions, like things that will help the next Black person become better than they were 2 seconds ago. Do you get me? I think investing in that ecosystem like that is also a solution that I think would benefit us. Does anyone in the audience have any questions? Attendees.
Oh, sorry, Percy. Yeah, I just got us a couple more minutes just because the conversation was going. Yo, this will continue for a while. Honestly, no.
Yeah.
No, listen, this was supposed to happen in a room several times over the last year. COVID got in the way, but this needs to be more regular.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if anyone, we'll just continue with one of the other questions because we have a couple more minutes. But if anyone pops a question in, then we can just try and answer that for them as well.
I don't know if I should skip one question just because of time, or should I?
Whatever you think is best. Whatever you think is best. Take it as you feel.
Okay, so I'm gonna skip this next question because I feel like we're talking about the whole black thing a bit too much. Let's talk about what we love to do. Yeah, what we love to do. What advice would you guys give to young upcoming artists of color or people looking to explore your creative field? What advice would you guys have for them? I think that's okay to ask. Go on, Lepre.
Okay, I'm gonna go for this one. So, as a dance instructor, an Afro dance instructor, coming into Ireland, I think one of the biggest need that I have was finding an Afro class that gives me the same happiness that I would have found, that I would have attended back home, and for me, I think for young people, I highly encourage, mostly people that I meet that are dancers to teach dance classes because you need more variety, you need, more vibes and something different that I don't have. I feel like the dance industry, for people who are looking, look at it in a form of competition. And I feel like it's not like that. Like I'm so happy, like, for example, that Favor's teaching Afro dance classes, Karine is teaching Afro, Lucille is teaching Afro. Like, the amount of variety, the amount of source that's in Ireland is absolutely beautiful. So if you want to start a class, if you want to start doing something in the creative field, literally just do it. Obviously do your research as to, which point would you like to go into? If you want to be a dance instructor, what do you have to do? What stuff do you have to get? Talk to people who are already doing these things, because I feel like they would give you the best advice as to what to do to get to that point. But yeah, my advice is to just go for it. Whether you have 5 or 2 people in the class, it does not matter. You will grow. Like, keep the same consistency with 1 person in the class compared to 30. Do you know what I mean? So that's me.
Beautiful. Thank you. Anyone else have any advice for the youngest?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Really, you just kind of got to go for it. Personally, I think you know that you're a testament to that. Anyways, you and many others who just inspire me, and nearly slipped again. But yeah, I think you just have to go for it. But I would go back to Karine's original point of, I think definitely education. I think sometimes we get lost in, and in a negative way, we can get lost in talent. I know I do sometimes, and we get lost in talent and forget to actually, like, say, study the field we're in, to the point where we say we understand the decisions we're making, and we also say understand what we're putting out. One thing I learned very quickly in the arts field was how strategic everything is. For example, like, before they've done an event a year later, they've planned it a year before, and they know what, what I mean, like what kind of effects going to come out of it, or what's going to change if something tweaks. And then, yeah, just education, so you actually have the skills so you can compete with the best of the best, because it means you can collaborate with whoever you want, and aim higher always. And then just networking, like, never be afraid to reach out to someone you admire, or someone whose work inspires you, to say, you love their work, or even, like, like, how did you get into this? Look for some advice. And then, just like I said, networking, support. That's it.
This is a big.
Favor,
No, go
you
on,
go.
Karen. No, go on now. Continue.
Go on, Karen.
Okay. So adding into what Lapri and Toby said, for me, it's more like interpersonal skills. So we're talking about artists of color, yeah. Okay, so it would be because we're in a generation where everybody wants things fast. I think they call it microwave generation. They don't want to cook anymore. Like, we do it for the money has to arrive, and if it doesn't, we quit or we get to jump into something else. Wherever if well, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. If it pays, just do it. So, and I think over time, and with the world we're in, there is a big loss of authenticity in what I see, and especially from new artists. So new artists are coming, but the content is regressing. It's really, if you take hip hop or dancehall, why does the best track comes from before? Like everything new is actually, it's alarming. It's really alarming. What they call hip hop today or dancehall, it's literally money injected into style that sells, but it's nothing authentic to the original purpose of hip hop and dancehall. So it's just for an artist today to be conscious of not to fall into the capitalist trap, to stay authentic. If you have a talent and you see it doesn't sell, who gives a F? Just do it. Don't get naked because it sells and then we forget about your voice or that you can skate. I don't know. There's so many, it's little details, but it's a mindset in the end. And this is what Europe does and America as well. Then the next thing is to seek excellence. So this is especially for the person of color, my Black brothers and sisters, to seek excellence. Let's stop give them reason to talk or to feed, to nurture the stereotype already on our back. We cannot control it. We have a lot of stereotypes. People have a lot of stereotypes about us, whether it's African, whether it's Caribbean, the diaspora, the people inland. We have a lot of diaspora. We have a lot of stereotypes, and I think we should be aware of our actions and make sure that we do not nurture those stereotypes. So I'm gonna take something simple. If you sing a song in 2021, don't say nigga. Who say nigga today? So if Jafar is, I'm hearing you say nigga, best believe I'm gonna say my brother. As much as I like your music, we need to change. We need to stop calling a Black man a nigga, a Black woman a bitch, or to put a music video about the nyash and the tits. That's past. We need to change those stereotypes of, yeah, you might turn off your camera. I'm just kidding. But it's just an example, and there's so much stuff, so much, and in the dance it's the same. There's so much. Like if you want to do a routine, you don't need to enter in a box, because this is the style, this is how we dance it. There's so much to talk about. But anyway, so excellence, authenticity, and the last one would be to do things for the people rather than for the money. So the more you do things for people to feel, if you perform with the perspective to provide emotion rather than caring about the number of people coming, I think you'd be more successful over time. So to really target the people and what you can bring. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I speak?
When you hear that, okay.
I feel attacked, but thank you.
Okay. Can I speak? All right. For me, the best advice I would give. I'm reading this question again so that I don't go off, because my body is doing like this and I have the tendency to just fly away. So pardon me, I'm reading it well. The best advice I would give an upcoming artist looking to explore a creative field. Now, first of all, my first advice is, what exactly do you want to do? That's the first thing. If anyone comes to me and is like, man, I need advice, I want to be a dancer, I want to be this. You want to be a dancer. What kind of dancer do you want to be? Because what people don't understand that in this industry, there are different ways to be a dancer, and you can pursue just one and you will make it in life. You can decide to pursue two, pursue three. Now, when you decide on what you want to do, whether it's dance or music or acting or whatsoever, you have to understand, there's something my mentor used to tell me every time: there is a process. It's a process, and the process would not be dictated to you by anybody, because at the end of the day, everyone is trying to become something bigger or a better person or a this or a that, right? And if you don't have your game plan, if you don't have your goal, and if you don't understand the process, you will find out that 7 years later, you find yourself in the same place. I hope what I'm saying doesn't attack anybody or doesn't affect anybody, but it's the same way. Trust me, and this I feel is the best way, because the thing people don't really, I don't know whether they understand or what I the thing I feel that it's not understood perfectly is, as a person or as an artist or as a creative, you should be constantly growing in your art. You should be constantly pushing forward. So it's not a bad thing if you decide to remain in one place, right? If you remain in one place, make sure you master it well, understand the process. If you want to, for example, if you want to say, okay, you only want to be dancing for artists, master it well, know different network, meet many artists, make sure that your content, the kind of dance you do, or when you come up with ideas or creative stuff for artists or company or whatever, make sure it's on point. Make sure you are well known. Make sure you come up with different ideas, and you know how to work with different artists that have different ideas for their performances, for shows, for events. If you want to perform, if that's all you want to do, make sure you have all that. Make sure you have the process. If it's you want to paint, right? Think about it. What is the best way? There is a process. I have to first meet people. I have to paint a lot of stuff, and then I have to, at the end of the day, you have to do some free work. You have to give out a lot of free stuff, because at that point, it's not about the free work you're giving out. It's about where are you giving out that free work. It's about where are you putting your name. It's about where are you going to. So there's so many processes that no one sees, but it's very important, because at the end of the day, people don't realize that even if you get to the top because of social media or anything else, it's as easy as someone putting you in your room and discussing with you, and there's camera, and you don't know what to say. Or you start saying buzz, or you start speaking in general terms. Now, when you speak in general terms, it's terrible. So it's that process that helps you as an artist, when you have the game plan, when you have the goal plan. So any artist or anybody in any form that comes to man is like, man, that comes to anybody is like, man, he wants to be good at this. He wants to learn how to do this. He wants to teach classes. He wants to sell out events. Bro, two things. First of all, you need a game plan. Number two, the process is there for a reason. It's old school, yes. Everyone says it's old school. Yes, it's old school. But does it work? That's the question. If it doesn't work, look for a little bit of the new school stuff and change it. But that process, that template still remains. It doesn't go anywhere. I don't think because we're in the new social media age, you can just go and do. Brother, in the next 2 years, you have gone. You have become a has-been. That's the truth. Or 3 years, or 4 years, or 5 years. Because at the end of the day, nobody wants to blow for 2 years and die down. Nobody wants to blow for 4 years and die down. Everyone wants something sustainable, either in a way they can use to impact people or make money. It's one of the two things. So that's the idea. That's what I'm going to tell people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll just add, I guess as a musician, or just to be honest, what I've learned anyways as a creative is like, because I come from the background of I just love making music, so I just want to make music that feels good. You get me? And I'm glad that I went through that process, because I found a passion in what I do. So I just do it just because I love to do it, even before there's a conversation about money. But once you decide that this is something I want to feed my family with, this is a career path that I want to do, you've now turned into a business. You're creative because the creative process still has to happen. But once you're selling that creativity, once you're selling that, you're a business. And every business has a message that they're sending to people. I think that's the first thing any creative should do, is understand. And Favor kind of mentioned it, like, what type of artist are you trying to be? Like, what message are you trying to give to the world? Do you get me? There's artists who talk about mental health, that's their message. There's artists who talk about women empowerment, they talk about blackness, they talk about money, girls. Like, what type of artist are you trying to be? What is your message? And then you have to now figure out, how do I want people to perceive me? How do I now project this message? How do I say it? How do I show it? How do I, like, what is this form? Do you get me? Yeah, and all of that comes with understanding the industry. So you have to study it. You actually have to be immersed in it in every way. Listen to interviews, podcasts, read books, etc., etc. Like fall in love with not just the process of creating, but the process of distributing and selling and marketing and unfortunately that's what you have to do if you want to be successful. Do you get me? Like, if you want to sell this product, but yeah, understand your message, and then learn how to project that and distribute that message. Do we have a question from? Okay, I guess this should be the last question, right? Because time, I don't know. I want to go. I want to keep going, but so this is a question from Melody. What would your advice be for upcoming artists that don't know exactly what they want to do with their art in the long run? How would you advise them in finding exactly what they flourish in the most? I know it should be your personal opinion and feeling, but it's not always that easy, especially with the influence of parents and stuff like that. I guess my question is, how would you advise a young artist to find exactly what art they need to pursue? Like, what habits or practices should they invest in order for them to figure out what art they would flourish in the most and be realistic with themselves? I hope that makes sense. Go on, Toby.
I'll answer this.
Now it's up to you.
I don't know if I'm saying I feel attacked is the right word, because it's just for me it's very personal to my own journey as a artist, black artist, whatever you want to call it. The whole thing of pressure from family, pressure from parents, or pressure due to like, say personally, due to like how I perceive race, or how I've been reared to perceive race, or my racial environment, whatever you want to call it. In terms of say, oh, I couldn't do that because I can only succeed in this, or somebody else thinking, oh, you shouldn't go for that because you'll never get work in that because they don't hire your kind of people there, basically. But yeah, just be very stubborn. As I could put it, be very stubborn and be very passionate. So like a passionate stubbornness, or a stubborn passionateness. I don't know how I should word it, but one of those. Know what it is you find fun, what it is you love about what it is that makes you curious. I kind of sometimes look at myself or get seen as a bit of a do-it-all. But I know for myself, my overall purpose behind what I do is storytelling. I'm trying to just paint a deeper picture than what you can see on the screen. So for me, that applies to any field. So regardless if I'm dancing, if I'm trying to produce a visual, I'll always want to. What was I saying? Yeah, I'll just always want to bring, I guess, my voice, or like say apply the knowledge I've learned. So I would always just say, try everything that interests you. It's not cheap. It's certainly not cheap. It's a bit of a long process, especially if you don't know exactly, like say Favor said earlier, what you want to do. Like, oh, do I want to paint? Do I want to paint more classic style? Do I want to paint more graffiti style? You know, if you don't know exactly what you want to do, you kind of have to just try it all, or give everything a bit of a taste and see what not what defines you, but see what really sticks out to you. You might end up finding, like me anyways, I end up finding in different fields, I find multiple things. So I'm very much obsessed with, like, say, trying to put my Afro down to my hip hop and trying to combine them to make some kind of weird fusion. You might find you want to do art, and then like you want to put art on jackets. You might want to paint, like there's artists who make human figures out of tulle. Like they just make these giant like floating figures out of sheer fabric, and that's their passion. So sometimes it's the case of finding the things that you're interested in, trying those out, and then maybe finding the way you want to put them together and what your voice is. But in line with what everyone else has said, I would always say prioritize knowing you and knowing what your voice is and what it is you want to bring to that field, and then prioritizing that, because you'll always grow and you'll always see things like as a kid, almost like Lego bricks. You'll be kind of put things together and you'll always find new directions to push in. So yeah, that's kind of what I would say. And just don't limit yourself. Like don't think you can't do this or you shouldn't do this. If you like the idea of trying it, try it, have fun with it. If you get tired of it, drop it and switch. Yeah.
So just very quickly, I would also say, so the idea of parents not liking what you want to do, and the idea of everyone telling you dance isn't a good way to go, it doesn't make you money, it doesn't make you a reasonable person in society. They will say that all the time, and it's not because they are wrong. Yes, they love you. Yes, they want the good thing for you. It's just due to ignorance, and it's not a problem. It's just something that you need to show them that it's actually quite possible. So what I would say is, right now, you might find yourself at the age whereby you say you don't really know exactly what you want to do in the long run, right? What you should what I would advise for you to do now is try to do everything. Try to do as much as possible. Try to, if it's to dance a music video, dance. If it's to do theater pieces, dance. If it's to anything that gives you joy as a dancer, try to do everything, because you can never find what you're good at, or you can never find what you're best at if you've not tried everything. Okay, it's not possible, because if you restrict yourself to just one art right now, you might get 2-3 years later, you might find something else you love and be like, man, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have. So the first thing I would advise you to do is, number one, your parents, they're not wrong for saying what they're saying. They're saying it from a point of they just want the best for their daughter. What is up to you now is to say, okay, what can I do, or where do I have to go, or what do I do to change the perception of me, one, and number two, to actually find the part or the type of dance or the dance style or whatever that pleases me the most. Because the truth is, no matter what you do and you put your mind to it and you decide you're going to be best at it and you're going to make this a good career, it's possible. All right. It's forget society saying all the blah, 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 black sheep. Have you any wood? It doesn't make sense. Right. Because it's the same thing as being any other occupation you think about. All right. And I know exactly how you feel, because it took me a long time before my parents could even understand the fact that I was going to do dance and nothing else. And the way I did that was, first of all, I had to look for, what I did was, for me, I like to push forward. I like to just look for, where is the biggest person? Why can I connect this person? How can I dance with this person? Even if they don't pay me, how can I start? Because I know if I start with you, in the next few months or the next few days, you're going to see my efforts. You're going to see how genuine I am. As I'm working with you, I'm looking at somebody else. I'm sending them messages. I am dancing with them. My experience increases. When I talk to people, it increases. So that's what you need to do. Just as much as possible, branch out to a lot of people, do a lot of things that you can get your mind on. And from there, it's going to build. And always, whatever you do, always make sure you are very, very focused and clearly positioned. Don't make it seem like, oh, you're all over the place. All right. Because it's how people see you act. That's what they're going to believe. So if you act and, oh, you have this, you're doing this, you're doing that. Also just taking note that, okay, your parents are still getting used to this. It's going to build the confidence, because it's the same thing I did. Just build the confidence and say, okay, I'm dancing with this. I'm on TV now. We got this, we danced for the governor. We did for this, we did, different things like that. Human beings are not too evil. Your parents are not too evil that they're like, oh my God, if you do this, you are get out of the house. Don't it? Even if they do it, as long as it's what you want to do. I lived on the streets for a long time, for a while, because my parents didn't understand. Yes, my parents didn't understand. They need to see the money. My parents didn't understand.
Karine in the chat box.
Yeah.
Yes, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. So
I'm working even though there's no money, And now they're seeing me. I'm dancing only and sending money, and they're happy. They are seeing the mullah. But when I was hustling and living on the street, and I did not tell them, they did not know, because I believed in what I was doing, and I followed the. Like I said, I still follow the process and the plan. So,
sorry.
Okay.
Please.
Sorry, I just wanted to cut because my mom has to go. Guys, shout out to my mom for being here. Sorry.
Thank you to your mom. Shout out, Momsy.
Shout out to my mom for being here, because honestly, like, she's been so supportive of my journey of finding myself as a dancer. So Melody, just to quickly give you advice.
Bring her on camera.
No, she's not. I'm in college, but she's listening in. She's here. But yeah, shout out to you, Mom. Yeah, she's been very supportive of my journey. I just want to quickly give you advice by also storytelling quickly. I always have been a person who's like, I don't think college is for me. I don't think I'll go to college and all of this. And obviously, as parents, you would want your kid to go to college, get a good job, stable income. That's like wishing for the best for them. Now, if you say, oh, I want to do arts, the instant thing is that arts has no money. Why are you going into arts? What's your fallback plan and all of that? But honestly, my mom has been very supportive in allowing me to find something that's proper. Like, okay, this is what I want to do. And this is what I have done. And these are the results. So I'm doing both, as in with college and with the dance industry. So it's all a matter of having a good communication or good relationship with your parent and actually voicing out that, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm just not sure. Could you give me advice? Or what is the way that I can take that would suit me best? And obviously, like trying, I think trial and error, failing is absolutely amazing in life because failing teaches you way more than being successful on the first go. So like Melody, I know you dance and stuff. So you could, like Favor said, try as much as you can, like narrow it down to something that you find your passion in, and hopefully the results will let you choose the right thing for you. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Corinne?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to close up. Melody, for me, it's gonna be a practical, so practice advice, because you said that I understand that you want to do art, or do you know the art that you want to practice, or do you want to know exactly what art you should pursue? So it can be any forms of art. So just a quick exercise for you if you have to start somewhere. I don't know if you're young or if you settled already in the art department. Take a letter, a paper, pen. Now, if you were a billionaire, what would you be doing in your life? And write down everything that you don't need money. You're just here to do what you want to do. What would you be doing? Would you be painting, writing, dancing, stretching, teaching? This is how you know exactly what you like. From there, now you have to look into the business model. Okay, how can you make business out of your passion, out of your skills? But first, it starts with what you want. And for me, the best way to know what you want is if you don't like any money. If whatever you need to do doesn't have to pay, what would you be doing? That's it for me. And I wish you good luck, Melody.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hopefully that helps, Melody. I know it's definitely hard when you're starting out, but you'll find your way. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for doing this. Thank you, Toby. Thank you, Smashing Times. Thank you, Lepre. Thank you, Karine. Thank you, Favor. Thank you, attendees. I know there was more of you guys, but I appreciate you guys for clocking in and listening to us ramble for an hour and a half. Hopefully some of it was now hopefully it was positive. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from this conversation, and I think there's definitely certain things that I'll have to implement, especially not saying the word nigga in songs. Thank you. It's a habit. It's a weird habit. It's like one of those things that you just, when you get into music, you're taught that that's the words to fill in the blank.
It's forever present,
for you
man.
to
It's everywhere.
For sure.
It's royalty. We are royalty.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Hopefully we can do this again soon. And yeah, have a good night, guys.
Just to finish, I just want to say a very, very big thank you, echoing what Jafari said, to create Smashing Times, Dublin Arts and Human Rights Festival, and the Arts Council for making all this possible and allowing us to come online and talk for an hour and a half. But yeah, thank you all very much. Honestly, it's just been amazing to have people who actually I've actually shaped so much of my journey and guided me, and also have just gave me so much hope in the last year. I'll be honest, in an online capacity from a distance. But yeah, thank you all guys so much for joining me, and yeah, hopefully see you all soon in person. Fizzy out here throwing gang signs. Yeah, guys.
Peace.
Have a good night. Also, the conversation has been recorded and will be available at some point, so keep an eye out. But yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you. But this is a peace sign. Peace and love. Everybody.
Have a good night.
Everybody, take it easy.